Hello, and welcome to Lotus Light Teachings. If you've ever felt like life is passing you by or that certain habits are quietly holding you back, you're not alone. Stay with us as we uncover the powerful shifts that can transform the way you think, move, and live in your senior years. Let's begin this journey together. What if everything you thought you knew about aging was wrong? Picture this. You wake up one morning, and as you look in the mirror, you see the fine lines, the silver streaks in your hair, and you feel the stiffness in your joints. Society has told you that aging means slowing down, taking it easy, and stepping aside. But deep down, a small voice whispers, "Is this really all there is?" Let me share a story with you. John, a retired schoolteacher, once thought that his best years were behind him. He spent his days reminiscing about his younger self, his energy, his achievements, his dreams. Every morning, he followed the same routine, reading the newspaper, watching TV, and occasionally meeting an old friend for coffee. Life felt predictable, until one day he realized something. He wasn't living, he was merely existing. One evening, while walking through his neighborhood, John noticed a group of seniors practicing Tai Chi in the park. Their graceful movements, their laughter, their presence intrigued him. Something inside him stirred, a curiosity he hadn't felt in years. The next day, he joined the group, and step by step, movement by movement, he began to feel a shift. Not just in his body, but in his mind and spirit. Through this newfound practice, John learned an important lesson. Aging is not about retreating, it's about evolving. And that's the journey we're about to embark on today. In Buddhist philosophy, aging is seen not as a decline, but as a natural cycle of impermanence and transformation. It teaches us that every stage of life holds beauty, wisdom, and potential, if only we choose to embrace it. So, ask yourself, what beliefs do I hold about aging? Are they empowering me, or are they holding me back? Throughout this video, we will explore 7 common habits that might be quietly sabotaging your happiness and well-being, and more importantly, how you can replace them with mindful, empowering choices. Because the truth is, aging doesn't have to mean slowing down or settling for less. It can be an invitation to reinvent yourself, to rediscover passions, and to cultivate a life filled with meaning and joy. Are you ready to challenge the way you think about aging and take control of your golden years? Let's dive in. Chapter 1: Rethinking Movement in Aging. What if movement wasn't just about staying fit, but about reconnecting with life itself? The body, like the mind, is a river ever-flowing, ever-changing. When we allow it to stagnate, the waters of vitality become still, clouded, and heavy. But with each step, each stretch, each mindful breath, we invite the current to flow once more, renewing our strength and sense of purpose. In the heart of a quiet town, there lived an elderly man named Henry. For years, Henry believed that aging meant slowing down, taking it easy, and avoiding anything that felt too strenuous. He would often sit by his window, watching the world go by, convinced that his days of movement and adventure were behind him. His knees ached, his back protested, and he found comfort in the predictability of his routine. But deep down, a silent longing stirred within him. Was this all there was left? One morning, as the sun painted golden streaks across the sky, Henry noticed his neighbor, an elderly woman named Mrs. Lee, walking gracefully down the street. Her steps were steady, her posture upright, and her face glowed with a quiet confidence. Intrigued, Henry decided to step outside and strike up a conversation. "You walk every morning, rain or shine?" he asked with a hint of curiosity. Mrs. Lee smiled gently. "Yes, Henry. Movement is life. The body is like a garden. If you nurture it, it will bloom even in the autumn of your years." Inspired by her words, Henry decided to give it a try. At first, it was just a few hesitant steps around his yard. His legs felt stiff, his breath was shallow, but something shifted within him. With each day, his steps grew lighter, his heart stronger, and his spirit brighter. Movement, he realized, was not just a physical act. It was a way of reclaiming his independence, his joy, and his connection to the world around him. 1,000 miles begins with a single step, an old Buddhist saying reminds us. In Buddhist philosophy, movement aligns closely with the concept of right effort, one of the steps in the Noble Eightfold Path. Right effort teaches us to cultivate positive qualities and abandon harmful habits, not through force, but through steady, mindful action. The body, like the mind, requires gentle discipline and compassionate care. So often, we carry the belief that movement must be intense to be effective, but in reality, it is the consistency of movement that brings the greatest rewards. A simple daily walk, mindful stretching, or practicing gentle yoga can be profound acts of self-care. Consider the wisdom of the Buddha, who taught that all things are impermanent. Just as the seasons change, so too do our bodies. The aches and pains we feel are reminders of this truth, not signals to stop, but invitations to adapt. Instead of resisting these changes, we can embrace them with mindfulness and compassion. Let us reflect. When was the last time you moved your body with joy rather than obligation? Have you ever paused to thank your body for carrying you through life's journey? What small step can you take today to honor your physical well-being? Movement is not just about preserving physical health. It is about maintaining mental clarity and emotional resilience. Studies have shown that regular movement enhances cognitive function, reduces the risk of dementia, and lifts our spirits by releasing endorphins, nature's own antidepressants. Take, for example, the practice of Tai Chi rooted in ancient wisdom. Tai Chi is not merely an exercise. It is a moving meditation, a dance of energy and balance. With each slow, deliberate movement, we align body, mind, and breath, cultivating inner stillness amidst the flow of life. Many seniors who have embraced Tai Chi find that it not only improves their physical strength, but also deepens their sense of peace and presence. Henry, after weeks of walking, found himself drawn to a local Tai Chi class. At first, he felt awkward, his movements clumsy, but under the gentle guidance of his instructor, he discovered a new rhythm within himself. The once familiar aches began to fade, replaced by a newfound sense of grace and confidence. It's never too late to begin again. Whether it's chair yoga to ease stiff joints, gentle stretches in the morning sun, or simply standing a little taller while breathing deeply, each action is an act of self-love. Practical steps to embrace mindful movement. Start small, but stay consistent. A 10-minute walk each morning can set a positive tone for the day. Gentle stretches before bedtime can prepare the body for restful sleep. Listen to your body with kindness. Avoid pushing too hard. Instead, aim for steady progress. Treat each movement as an opportunity to practice mindfulness. Make movement enjoyable. 1. Dance to your favorite music. Join a local walking group or community class to stay motivated. Incorporate breathing practices. With each step, inhale deeply and exhale slowly, anchoring yourself in the present moment. Remember, movement is not just a routine, it is a celebration of life itself. In the stillness of meditation, we observe the impermanence of each breath. In the grace of movement, we honor the impermanence of the body. The two are not separate. They are complementary aspects of our being. And so, dear friend, as you reflect on your own journey, ask yourself, how can I move through life with greater ease and joy? As the Buddha once said, with our thoughts, we make the world. Let your thoughts be kind, your steps be mindful, and your heart be open to the possibilities that each new day brings. So step forward with courage and compassion. Let movement be your meditation, your medicine, and your gift to yourself. Because aging is not the end, it is a beautiful beginning. Chapter 2, The Power of Social Connections. There are moments in life when silence feels heavier than words, when the absence of laughter in a room echoes louder than any sound. Loneliness is a quiet companion that often sneaks into our lives unnoticed, especially as we age. It creeps in through the spaces once filled with lively conversations, shared meals, and the warmth of familiar faces. But what if loneliness wasn't an inevitable part of growing older? What if connection was still within reach, waiting just beyond our fears and hesitations? In a small town, nestled between rolling hills and golden fields, there lived a woman named Margaret. She had spent most of her life as a devoted wife, a loving mother, and a cherished friend. But when her husband passed away and her children moved far from home, an unfamiliar stillness settled into her days. The once vibrant home, filled with laughter and music, became a place of quiet reflection and, at times, quiet sorrow. Margaret often sat by her window, watching the world move on without her. She wondered if this was what aging truly meant, becoming invisible, fading into the background of life. One day, as she was tidying up old letters and photo albums, she came across a handwritten note from her late husband. It read, "Love is not measured by time but by presence. Stay present, stay open." Something in those words stirred within her. She realized that love and connection were not relics of the past, but choices she could still make today. With a hesitant yet hopeful heart, Margaret decided to step out of her comfort zone and join a local community center. At first, the unfamiliar faces and conversations felt overwhelming. But as the days passed, she found herself drawn to the gentle rhythm of companionship. The way people shared their stories, the way laughter seemed to bridge the gap between strangers, and the warmth of simply being acknowledged. Through volunteering, she discovered a renewed sense of purpose, helping others while healing her own heart. In Buddhism, relationships are seen as a reflection of our interconnectedness. The concept of interbeing teaches us that no one exists in isolation. We are all threads in the vast tapestry of life. Just as a tree cannot grow without the support of the soil, the sun, and the rain, we too thrive when nurtured by meaningful connections. Reflect for a moment. When was the last time you truly connected with someone? Not just through words, but through presence? How often do you open your heart to new experiences, new friendships, and new perspectives? Have you allowed yourself the gift of being seen, heard, and valued? Science confirms what ancient wisdom has long known. Strong social connections are vital for longevity and well-being. Studies have shown that people with meaningful relationships tend to live longer, experience lower levels of stress, and enjoy greater overall happiness. The heart, it seems, thrives on connection just as much as it does on healthy food and exercise. Yet, in today's world, it's easy to retreat into solitude, especially as we age. Physical limitations, social anxiety, and past experiences can create invisible walls that keep us from reaching out. But it is precisely in these moments of hesitation that we must take a step forward, toward others, toward community, toward life. Metta meditation, or loving-kindness meditation, is a powerful practice that can help us cultivate a sense of connection even when we feel isolated. By silently offering thoughts of love, compassion, and goodwill, first to ourselves, then to others, we begin to soften the barriers that separate us. We learn that connection begins from within, with a heart willing to open and a mind willing to embrace the present moment. Close your eyes and whisper gently to yourself, "May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe, may I live with ease." Now imagine extending those same wishes to someone you know, someone you love, and even someone you struggle with. Connection is not just about proximity. It is about intention. Margaret discovered this truth in the most unexpected ways. She found that by offering a kind smile to a stranger, by listening without judgment, and by simply showing up with an open heart, she was creating ripples of connection that extended far beyond herself. Building meaningful relationships doesn't require grand gestures. It starts with small, intentional acts. 1. Reach out to an old friend. A simple phone call or letter can reignite a long-lost connection. 2. Join a local group or club. Whether it's a book club, a gardening circle, or a volunteer organization, finding people with shared interests can bring new joy into your life. 3. Practice deep listening. Sometimes the greatest gift we can offer others is our full, undivided attention. 4. Embrace vulnerability. True connection comes from authenticity, allowing yourself to be seen, flaws and all. As the Buddha taught, friendship is the entire spiritual path. In the presence of others, we find mirrors of our own experiences, reflections of our joys and struggles, and reminders that we are never truly alone. Margaret's story is a gentle reminder that it is never too late to connect, to belong, to find community. The journey begins with a single step, a step out of isolation, a step toward companionship, a step into a life enriched by love and shared experiences. And so, dear friend, let us ask ourselves, what is one small step I can take today to nurture connection in my life? Like the branches of a tree reaching toward the sky, let us extend our hearts toward one another, knowing that in connection, we find strength, purpose, and peace. In the quiet moments of solitude, remember that the world is still waiting for you, with open arms, with kind smiles, and with stories yet to be shared. Because the beauty of connection is that it is never truly lost. It simply waits to be rediscovered. Chapter 4: Managing Negativity in the Media Age. There is a quiet weight that settles into the heart after scrolling through endless streams of news, opinions, and stories of suffering. It is the kind of heaviness that lingers long after the screen is turned off. A subtle, invisible burden that we carry without realizing it. In this modern age of information, where every headline demands our attention and every notification pulls us deeper, it becomes easy to feel overwhelmed, anxious, and powerless. But what if there was another way? Meet Eleanor, a retired teacher who once found joy in the simple pleasures of life. Morning walks in the park, reading her favorite novels, and tending to her garden. Yet, over time, as the world grew noisier and more connected through technology, she found herself increasingly drawn to the endless cycle of news and social media. What started as a way to stay informed became an unconscious habit, one that left her feeling drained, fearful, and disconnected from the present moment. She would wake up each morning and reach for her phone before even stepping out of bed, scrolling through alarming headlines and distressing stories. Her once peaceful mornings became clouded with worry, and slowly, a sense of unease crept into her days. The world seemed darker, heavier, and beyond her control. One afternoon, as she sat by her window scrolling through news updates, she overheard a conversation between two children playing outside. They were laughing, completely absorbed in the simple joy of the moment, unbothered by the chaos of the world beyond their small playground. It was a gentle reminder that life was still happening, that joy still existed, if only she chose to notice it. In Buddhism, the mind is often compared to a garden. Whatever seeds we plant, whether they are seeds of worry or seeds of peace, will inevitably grow and shape our reality. The more we nourish our minds with negative content, the more fear and anxiety take root. Conversely, when we cultivate mindfulness, gratitude, and presence, we create an environment where peace and clarity can flourish. Eleanor decided to make a change. She began by setting small, mindful boundaries with her media consumption. Instead of starting her day with the news, she spent a few quiet moments in gratitude, appreciating the warmth of the morning sun, the sound of birds chirping, and the comfort of a fresh cup of tea. She limited her news intake to just 30 minutes a day and balanced it with uplifting content, stories of kindness, personal growth, and inspiration. As days turned into weeks, she noticed a profound shift. Her anxiety lessened, and she found herself more present in her daily activities. The news had not changed, but her relationship with it had. She realized that by choosing where to place her attention, she could reclaim a sense of peace and purpose in her life. We can all learn from Eleanor's journey. In this fast-paced digital world, mindfulness is not just a practice. It is a necessity. Reflect for a moment. How much of your mental space is occupied by the constant flow of negative information? Do you find yourself feeling anxious or overwhelmed after consuming news or social media? What small step can you take today to create a more balanced relationship with digital content? The Buddha taught that suffering arises from attachment, not just to material things, but also to thoughts, fears, and external influences. By practicing right mindfulness, we learn to observe without becoming entangled, to stay informed without being consumed, and to engage with the world with wisdom and compassion. Here are some practical steps to manage negativity in the media age. Set intentional boundaries. Choose specific times during the day to check the news, rather than allowing it to dictate your entire day. Be selective about the sources you trust and focus on content that informs rather than agitates. Balance consumption with creation. Instead of passively consuming content, engage in creative activities that bring you joy, whether it's painting, writing, or spending time in nature. Practice gratitude and mindfulness. Counterbalance negative information with moments of gratitude. Each day, take note of the small joys and blessings in your life. Curate your digital environment. Unfollow accounts that bring stress and anxiety, and instead, surround yourself with content that uplifts and inspires. Embrace the present moment. Step away from the screen and reconnect with the here and now, whether it's through deep breathing, meditation, or a walk outdoors. In the end, managing negativity is not about ignoring the realities of the world, but about approaching them with a sense of inner peace and clarity. It's about recognizing that while we cannot control everything that happens around us, we do have control over how we respond. And so, dear friend, as you take a deep breath and step away from the noise, remember this: peace is not found in the absence of chaos, but in the space we create within ourselves to hold it all with grace. The world will continue to spin, the headlines will keep changing, but within you lies the unshakable stillness of awareness, ready to guide you through whatever comes next. Chapter 6. Letting go of guilt and regret. There is a quiet weight that lingers in the heart, one that whispers in the stillness of the night and casts a shadow over the brightest of days. Guilt and regret have a way of settling deep within us, like stones in a riverbed, shaping the flow of our lives in subtle yet profound ways. We carry them unknowingly, sometimes for years, believing that they are a part of who we are, a reminder of what could have been. But what if we could set them down? What if, instead of letting the past define us, we could transform it into a source of wisdom and growth? In a small village nestled among rolling hills, there was an elderly man named Thomas. His life, by all appearances, was peaceful. He had a home filled with memories, a garden he tended with care, and friends who cherished him. But beneath the surface, there was a sadness he rarely spoke of. Many years ago, a misunderstanding had driven him away from his family, leaving wounds that time had not healed. He often found himself lost in thought, replaying the past like an old film, wishing he had said different words, made different choices. The weight of regret grew heavier with each passing year, robbing him of the joy of the present moment. One morning, as Thomas sat by the river, an old monk passed by and noticed the sorrow in his eyes. Sitting beside him, the monk shared a simple yet profound truth. The river does not cling to the stones it passes over. It simply flows. Why do you hold on to what no longer serves you? These words struck a chord deep within Thomas. He realized that holding on to guilt was like trying to hold onto the river. It only brought suffering. Inspired by this encounter, he decided to reconnect with his estranged family. With trembling hands, he wrote a letter, one filled with honesty, humility, and the sincere desire to make amends. In Buddhism, the practice of letting go is deeply intertwined with the understanding of impermanence, the realization that all things, including our mistakes and regrets, are ever-changing. Nothing remains the same. The past has passed, and the present is all we truly have. Reflect for a moment. What regrets do you carry in your heart? How often do you revisit moments that no longer exist, reliving the pain instead of embracing the present? What would it feel like to forgive yourself, to see your past with compassion instead of judgment? The Buddha taught that suffering arises not from what happens to us, but from our attachment to it. By practicing forgiveness, we release the tight grip of regret and allow space for healing and renewal. Forgiveness is not about forgetting or excusing past actions. It is about acknowledging them with wisdom and choosing to move forward with an open heart. It is an act of compassion, both for ourselves and for others. One powerful tool in this journey is metta meditation, also known as loving-kindness meditation. This practice helps us cultivate feelings of love and forgiveness, first toward ourselves, and then extending outward to those we hold resentment or regret toward. Try this simple meditation. 1. Find a quiet place and close your eyes. 2. Take a few deep breaths, allowing your body to relax. 3. Silently repeat the following phrases. Oh, may I be happy. May I be free from suffering. May I find peace. Oh, may I forgive myself and others with compassion. Gradually extend these wishes to others, even those with whom you have unresolved feelings. As Thomas discovered, the act of reaching out, whether through words, actions, or even silent intention, can be a step toward healing. His family responded with warmth and understanding, and though years had passed, the love they once shared remained. Letting go does not happen overnight. It is a gentle unfolding, a daily practice of choosing to be present, to forgive, and to embrace life as it is. Here are a few daily affirmations that can help cultivate self-compassion. I release the past and welcome the present with an open heart. I am human, and I allow myself the grace to grow and change. I forgive myself for what I did not know at the time. Each day offers a new beginning, a chance to rewrite our stories with kindness and understanding. And so, dear friend, as you take a deep breath and look within, ask yourself, what would it feel like to be free of regret? Know that healing is possible, that the past does not define you, and that the present moment is filled with infinite possibilities. Chapter 7. Breaking Free from Routines. There is comfort in routine, the familiar rhythm of daily life, the predictability that brings a sense of security. But over time, what once felt safe can begin to feel stagnant, like a river that no longer flows, but sits still, reflecting only the past. In the heart of a bustling city lived a woman named Eleanor. For years, she followed the same routine, waking up at the same time, eating the same breakfast, walking the same route to the park. Life was orderly, predictable, but deep inside, she felt a quiet longing for something more. One afternoon, while browsing an old bookstore, she came across a travel memoir of a woman who embarked on a solo adventure at the age of 70. Inspired and a little apprehensive, Eleanor decided to take a small step. She would explore a new part of the city she had never visited before. That simple act of stepping outside her usual path awakened something within her. She began trying new things, joining a pottery class, learning a new language, even taking a spontaneous trip to the countryside. With each new experience, she felt a spark of excitement she hadn't felt in years. The mind, like a garden, thrives on novelty and growth. Neuroscience has shown that exposing ourselves to new experiences keeps our brains sharp, enhances memory, and fosters a sense of vitality and joy. Reflect for a moment. When was the last time you did something for the first time? What routines in your life bring you comfort, and which ones may be holding you back? How can you introduce a sense of curiosity into your daily life? In Buddhist teachings, curiosity and mindfulness go hand in hand. The practice of beginner's mind, approaching life with the wonder and openness of a child, allows us to see each moment with fresh eyes. Breaking free from routine doesn't mean abandoning structure altogether. It means inviting a sense of adventure and exploration into everyday life. Small changes like taking a different route home, trying a new hobby, or meeting new people can bring a renewed sense of purpose. Consider these mindful ways to embrace change. Try something outside your comfort zone. Whether it's a new cuisine, a different style of music, or a creative pursuit, allow yourself the joy of discovery. Practice mindful observation. Notice the details in everyday moments, how sunlight filters through the trees, the taste of your morning tea, the feeling of fresh air on your skin. Let go of expectations. Allow new experiences to unfold naturally, without the need for perfection or control. As Eleanor discovered, breaking free from routine is not about chasing something extraordinary. It's about finding the extraordinary within the ordinary. Life is a journey, not a destination. And in each new experience, we find pieces of ourselves we had forgotten. So, dear friend, as you take a deep breath and step into the unknown, remember, life is meant to be explored, savored, and embraced with an open heart. There is still so much waiting to be discovered. Chapter 8. The Role of Spirituality and Purpose. There comes a moment in life when we pause and ask ourselves, what is the purpose of it all? As the years pass and life slows down, the pursuit of external achievements gives way to a deeper longing. One that whispers of meaning, of connection, of something greater than ourselves. In the quiet of our hearts, we seek not just to exist, but to live with purpose, to find a sense of peace that transcends the fleeting nature of our days. Sarah, a retired librarian, often found herself sitting alone in her garden, reflecting on the seasons of her life. She had spent years devoted to her career, raising her children, and fulfilling responsibilities. But now, in the stillness of her golden years, a question echoed within her. Who am I beyond these roles? One morning, as she watered the plants, she noticed a small bird building a nest in the corner of the garden. Each twig, each piece of straw was placed with care, with intention. It struck her how even the smallest creatures lived with a sense of purpose, driven not by grand ambitions but by the simple act of being. In Buddhism, the concept of dharma, our true purpose or path, is not about striving for something beyond reach, but about aligning our lives with the natural flow of existence. To live in harmony with dharma is to embrace each moment with awareness, to find meaning not in doing more, but in being fully present. We often think of purpose as something grand, something we must achieve or chase. But the truth is, purpose is found in the smallest of acts, the kindness we offer, the wisdom we share, the love we nurture within ourselves and others. It is in the way we greet a new day, the way we listen with an open heart, the way we cultivate compassion for all beings. Reflect for a moment. What brings you a deep sense of fulfillment? Have you allowed yourself the space to explore what truly matters to you? How can you align your daily life with your innermost values? In the teachings of the Buddha, the understanding of impermanence, the ever-changing nature of life, is a gentle reminder that our sense of self is fluid. The roles we once identified with may shift, but our deeper essence remains unchanged. Aging, when seen through the lens of wisdom, becomes not a loss, but an opportunity to let go of attachments and discover a deeper connection to the present moment. Sarah found solace in this wisdom. She began to embrace new experiences with an open heart, volunteering at a local shelter, sharing stories with younger generations, and rekindling her love for painting. Each of these small acts wove together a tapestry of meaning, reminding her that purpose is not something we find, but something we create, moment by moment. The Eightfold Path, a cornerstone of Buddhist philosophy, offers a guide to living a purposeful life. 1. Right view. Seeing life with clarity, understanding that true fulfillment comes from within. 2. Right intention. Cultivating a heart of compassion and wisdom in all that we do. 3. Right speech. Using words that uplift and heal, both for ourselves and others. 4. Right action. Living with integrity, choosing kindness in our daily interactions. 5. Right livelihood. Engaging in work that aligns with our values, even in retirement. 6. Right effort. Letting go of negativity and nurturing positive habits. 7. Right mindfulness. Being present, fully embracing each experience with awareness. 8. Right concentration. Cultivating inner peace through meditation and self-reflection. By applying these principles, we can create a life filled with meaning and intentionality. Purpose is not measured by the size of our accomplishments, but by the depth of our presence. There is a story in Buddhist tradition about an old monk who, in his final years, found great joy in sweeping the temple grounds. When asked why he spent his days in such a simple task, he replied, "Each sweep of the broom clears my heart, brings me closer to the present moment. In this, I find my purpose." Let this story be a gentle reminder that even the most ordinary acts can hold extraordinary meaning when done with mindfulness and love. In practical terms, how can we cultivate a purpose-driven life in our later years? Rediscover your passions. Take time to explore activities that once brought you joy, whether it's art, music, gardening, or learning something new. Engage in acts of service. Offering your time and skills to help others not only enriches their lives, but also brings a profound sense of fulfillment. Deepen your spiritual practice. Whether through meditation, prayer, or simply spending time in nature, nurture your connection with the deeper aspects of life. Connect with a like-minded community. Surrounding yourself with those who share your values can provide support and inspiration for your journey. Practice self-compassion. Remember that finding purpose is not about perfection. It's about being kind to yourself in the process of exploration. Sarah, in time, came to realize that purpose was not something she had lost with age, but something she was discovering anew. Her days, once filled with uncertainty, were now enriched with meaning, not because she had found a grand mission, but because she had embraced life with openness and gratitude. And so, dear friend, as you walk this path of life, remember, purpose is not found in the future, but in the way you live each day with intention. The beauty of this journey is that it is yours to shape, yours to embrace, one mindful breath at a time. As the Buddha once said, your work is to discover your world, and then with all your heart, give yourself to it. Let today be the day you choose to live with purpose, to find meaning in the smallest of moments, and to cherish the gift of being here, now. As we come to the end of our journey today, take a moment to reflect. Aging isn't about counting down the years. It's about making the years count. Every day is an opportunity to nurture your mind, body, and spirit, to move with purpose, to connect with others, to embrace change with an open heart. Think about the 7 habits we discussed. Perhaps you've recognized some of them in your own life. Maybe you've realized that skipping daily movement, isolating yourself from friends, or letting negativity creep in has been quietly affecting your well-being. But here's the good news. It's never too late to make a change. Take inspiration from those who have walked this path before you, like Mary, who reignited her love for painting and found a whole new community of like-minded souls. Or George, who let go of past regrets and embraced forgiveness, bringing a newfound lightness to his heart. Buddhist teachings remind us that transformation begins with awareness. Once you recognize the patterns that no longer serve you, you hold the power to shift them, step by step, breath by breath. So, what will you do today to create a positive change in your life? Will you take a short walk in the fresh air? Call an old friend just to say hello? Try something new that excites your curiosity? Remember, aging gracefully isn't about perfection. It's about embracing each moment with intention and gratitude. Whether it's finding joy in the little things, staying active and engaged, or simply choosing to see life through a lens of possibility, you have the power to shape your future. Before we go, I'd love to hear from you. What small change are you going to commit to today? Leave a comment below and share your thoughts. Your journey might just inspire someone else. If you found value in today's message, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who might need a little encouragement. Together, we can spread positivity and wisdom, helping more people embrace the beauty of aging. Thank you for spending your time with us here at Lotus Light Teachings. Keep shining your light, and we'll see you in the next video.